The American passport once symbolized freedom, a universal key to explore the world. But today, it tells a different story. Over 70% of U.S. travelers now say they're treated with coldness or even open hostility abroad. What used to be a badge of privilege has become a source of tension. The world, it seems, is quietly turning its back on Americans. Section 1: The Rise of the Ugly American Online. The Internet has become the world's courtroom, and American tourists are the defendants. From Reddit threads to TikTok compilations, a wave of tourist-shaming videos has gone viral. Clips of loud, impatient, or tone-deaf travelers dominate social media. Entire communities mock what's now being called the return of the ugly American. Some examples border on absurd. One traveler at Stonehenge urged his child to climb on the sacred rocks. Another, confused by medieval reenactors in France, asked if they were refugees. And in a quiet English village tied to the King Arthur legend, one American loudly demanded, "Where's the castle?" It's easy to laugh, until you realize these anecdotes are shaping global perception. They reinforce the stereotype of the arrogant visitor who expects every country to behave like the United States. Section 2: The Global Backlash. But this time, the reaction is more than ridicule, it's real anger. Protests have erupted across the world. In Mexico City, crowds marched under the banner, "Gringo, stop stealing our homes." In Spain, weekly anti-tourism demonstrations became so heated that the U.S. Embassy issued a warning for Americans. In Kyoto, local authorities banned foreigners from certain alleys after repeated harassment of geisha. And in Vietnam, outrage followed a viral photo of an American wearing a t-shirt that read, "Freedom, American Style," while posing inside a war museum. According to a global rescue survey, 72% of U.S. travelers now believe Americans are viewed more negatively than ever before. The problem runs deeper than a few rude travelers. It's an attitude, a subtle sense of cultural superiority. Complaining when locals don't speak English. Expecting credit cards to work everywhere. Demanding traditional dishes be Americanized. Each small act, amplified by cameras and hashtags, feeds the image of entitlement. Section 3: The Economic Fallout at Home. But the consequences don't stop overseas. They're now echoing back into the American economy. Hotels once bustling with visitors now sit half-empty. Restaurants report quiet nights, with servers standing by empty tables. In Las Vegas, hotel occupancy plunged to 76% in July, down 7% from last year, during what should be peak travel season. Southern Nevada has lost 11% of its visitors, a staggering drop that ripples through every level of the service industry. In San Francisco, once a global tourism hub, nearly 40% of hotel rooms remain vacant this summer, an unthinkable number just a few years ago. The problem isn't just fewer tourists, it's fewer dollars circulating. Every empty table, every unsold ticket, every cancelled reservation chips away at the economy, from small business owners to tax revenues that fund local schools and police. Section 4: The Tipping Point for Workers. The hardest hit are the people on the front lines, the waiters, bartenders, and hotel staff who rely on tips to survive. Unlike in many other countries, tips in the U.S. aren't bonuses, they're essential income. When tourism slows, paychecks vanish overnight. Persistent inflation has only deepened the crisis. Essentials like gas, groceries, and rent have skyrocketed, forcing families to cut back on dining out, travel, and entertainment. For many, a simple weekend getaway now feels like a luxury. A restaurant meal isn't an indulgence anymore, it's a financial calculation. Section 5: The Retail Ripple Effect. The collapse doesn't stop at hotels and restaurants. Retailers, too, are paying the price. In Naples, Florida, visitor numbers dropped just 5%, but the effect was dramatic. Fewer tourists mean fewer shoppers, and fewer sales. Boutiques slash prices weeks early, but there's no one left to buy. Family-run stores, souvenir stands, and even national chains are cutting hours or closing altogether. Meanwhile, online giants like Amazon absorb the leftovers, turning once vibrant shopping districts into ghost towns. For locals, it's not just lost business, it's lost identity. The corner cafe that once welcomed tourists now struggles to stay open. The handmade craft store becomes another, for lease, sign. Section 6. The vanishing hotels. The most haunting images come from hotels, spotless rooms, glowing lobbies, and no guests. In New Orleans, a 50-year-old boutique hotel closed permanently. The owner fought tears as she said, "It costs less to keep the lights off than to stay open." America's vacations have become unaffordable luxuries. Airfares have doubled. Hotel rates are inflated by rising costs. And travelers complain of endless hidden fees, resort charges, cleaning fees even, energy surcharges. That overpriced $8 bottle of water in a Las Vegas lobby has become a symbol of betrayal. It's not about the money, it's about trust. When guests feel cheated, they don't return. And that mistrust spreads like wildfire. Section 7. A system breaking down. Every hidden charge, every disappointment erodes faith in the U.S. hospitality brand. Tourists leave with a bitter taste, share their stories online, and warn others away. Businesses then panic, slashing staff, cutting service quality, or hiking prices to survive, making the problem worse. It's a vicious cycle. Fewer visitors, lower service, worse reviews, fewer visitors. Section 8. The domino effect on local governments. When hotels and restaurants fail, city budgets crumble too. Tourism taxes fund schools, roads, and first responders. As that revenue vanishes, mayors and governors face impossible choices: cut public services or raise local taxes. It's no longer a private sector problem. It's a public crisis. Section 9. The Canada collapse. $23 billion gone. Nowhere is the collapse clearer than at the border. America's largest tourism market, Canada, has pulled away. Cross-border traffic plunged 28%, wiping out $23 billion and 230,000 jobs almost overnight. In Seattle, border hotels sit half empty. In Detroit, duty-free shops report record losses. The catalyst? Politics. After President Trump's re-election and his harsh rhetoric toward Canada, a wave of boycotts swept the North. Families canceled trips, posting hashtags like #StayInCanada. One father from Ontario summed it up: "We've had enough. We'll keep our money here." The message was clear, and the movement massive. Instead of heading to Florida or Georgia, Canadians turned inward, fueling a historic boom in domestic tourism. Canada didn't lose, it gained. Section 10. The Georgia breakdown. Meanwhile, in Georgia, the backlash turned catastrophic. Once a southern tourism gem, the state watched bookings fall 37%, events worth $1.2 billion vanish, and international conference attendance drop 52%. The spark? A viral video of 2 German musicians detained and deported without explanation at Atlanta's airport. Within 48 hours, the clip hit 18 million views. Within a week, Germany issued a travel warning. Instead of damage control, Georgia's leaders doubled down, introducing stricter visa rules, fingerprinting requirements, and foreign land ownership bans. Abroad, it was seen as a blunt message: "You're not welcome." The fallout spread far beyond Georgia. It sent shockwaves across America's entire image. Section 12. The human toll. Behind every percentage point are real people. More than 100,000 tourism-related jobs vanished this summer. Servers, hotel staff, guides, entire families now struggle to pay rent. Empty restaurants mean unpaid mortgages. Dark hotel lobbies mean laid-off housekeepers. And in places like Cleveland and Youngstown, the decline has brought a painful sense of déjà vu, another wave of economic decay after decades of industrial collapse. Section 13. The end of the American welcome. For decades, America was a dream destination, a global Disneyland of freedom, fun, and opportunity. But that image is cracking. The promise of hospitality has been replaced by suspicion, overpricing, and indifference. The U.S. once invited the world to come see our dream. Now, the world is saying, no thanks. Recovery isn't guaranteed. History shows that once trust is broken, it takes decades to rebuild, and sometimes, it never returns. The American tourism empire is learning a painful truth: you can't wall off the world and expect it to keep visiting. Closing line. The blue passport still opens doors, but fewer than before. Global hospitality hasn't disappeared. It's simply moved on. The real question is, will America realize it before it's too late?